Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about Sensorium token and basically what it does. If you like these kinds of videos, you should definitely like, comment, and subscribe and watch this video to the end. Check out our Patreon and all our other socials. I need you to remember something though. This is not financial advice. We don't accept liabilities for losses that you might incur, and everything here is strictly for news and research purposes. So with that in mind, you'll be able to enjoy the topic of this video, Senso. So recently someone in our YouTube comments dropped this thing on us, and we decided to look it up, and it piqued our interest. So we're just going to say thank you. Definitely appreciate that. Senso token. Right now it's sitting at about $1.90 with an all-time high of about, hold on, let me see. I'll tell you right now. With an all-time high of $3. And the reason why I like this project is it's got a pretty small circulating supply of about 12 million with a $23 million supply market cap, right? So it's still very small. There's a lot of room for price discovery. And personally, I think it has a pretty cool project. And, you know, besides like the tokenomics here of me just enjoying what the prices and the supply is, like from that very, very basic perspective, I decided to look into the website a little bit, right? So you can look at the website. There's, you know, quite a decent amount of love put into it, right? And it's been mentioned on, you know, Cointelegraph, Bitcoinist, Yahoo Finance, Bitcoin.com. You know what I mean? Like it's been mentioned in a few different places, as well as like Music Business Worldwide. So from my understanding, like it's getting mentioned in reputable places, which is a very good start. And the main thing that kind of piqued my interest was more or less what they're trying to do, right? So what they're trying to do is they're trying to create an experience, like a VR experience, right? They're trying to take the metaverse to the next level by creating they want to create more interactive AI built kind of metaverses to some degree, right? And I was watching this video of a DJ who would basically put like a sensor suit around himself, and he DJ'd while he did it, right? And then Sensorium basically played a digital show like that. And I'm going to link that video in the description for you guys to see it, just so that I could more or less like show you what I'm talking about, right? And it's definitely something that I could see being cool, because they're trying to create virtual concerts as well as like other virtual events. And they're trying to basically take concerts in a new direction. Like I was reading, one of the ideas they had was like, okay, you want to go see your favorite DJ? Well, you're going to go see him, and you're going to see him in space that week, because it'll be in a VR world where you could see him in space, or like a cowboy world. You know what I mean? Like it really all depends on what the artist is going to try to convey to you. So I think it adds another layer to the art just from there. And these are some of the other places that mention it. It was Forbes, Financial Times, Bloomberg, Business Insider, USA Today. You know, quite a few reputable places more reputable places that also mentioned it. Like you could see here, like they mention here, right? So, oh wow, look at this. Founded by billionaire Michael Prokhorov. And basically he was like a Russian billionaire, and he was the ex owner of which basketball team? Hold on a second. Former Brooklyn Nets. Yeah, so he originally owned the Brooklyn Nets, and he's basically trying to create a startup like this to try and rival Facebook with a multiplayer world. That's his perspective of it. And basically he's saying, like, imagine this is basically what I quoted before, imagine watching your favorite artist in space, not a stage, with absolute freedom to get as close as you want, right? And from here, he basically said, like, the company says it attracted $100 million in investments from entertainment companies, but would not disclose the names of these investors yet. But there's a few of them that have been disclosed more recently, right? And either way, he's basically this billionaire is taking a bet that this kind of VR world is going to overtake Facebook, and that's his plan. He wants to make Oculus and virtual reality hardware more of a an option. So he's also going to be onboarding the virtual experience, which is in his world, it's a sound investment from his perspective, because we got to remember he's an investor before anything, right? And he's more or less getting ready for using Sensorium to move that into more of a reality. I mean, that's definitely something pretty crazy. And over here too, like on the website, if you go back, you could look at the partnerships, and there was some pretty interesting partnerships. But the one that stuck out the most was this one, Epic Games. So Epic Games, we know it's basically it's the company behind Fortnite, which is like a huge success. And a lot of people play it. I don't personally play it, but I also understand that Epic Games is $1 billion company. And they're technology partners, right? So they're making compatible projects with Sensorium. And for content partners, more or less, they got Rock Nation, which is Jay-Z's investment firm. And then that brings me to my next point, right? So Jay-Z's entertainment firm, Rock Nation, they buy Sensorium crypto tokens, right? So they mention here that among the list of people that invested into this project, because they mentioned there was $100 million in funding, I'm going to assume a good chunk of it was Jay-Z. So Jay-Z invested into it with Rock Nation, and he also invested into it with Tidal. So Jay-Z's music streaming service, Tidal, also purchased $7 million worth of Senso tokens. So that means that Jay-Z has invested into Sensorium with two projects, one of them being Rock Nation and the other one being Tidal. So that's a billionaire who's taken two of his companies and bought basically into it. So he's taken two separate companies and bought into it. So that means there's a solid chance that Jay-Z also bought some tokens for himself. Like, we don't exactly know, but the way I see it is $100 million worth of funding isn't even that big, considering the fact that one billionaire musician with multiple entertainment services is buying into it, and a Russian billionaire who owned the nets. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a small thing. It's quite a big thing, actually, because we're looking at the application now for like DJs, right? DJs and music and all these streaming services. But even let's say now they make VR, like a VR basketball game. You know what I mean? Where it's like you could see the people in VR super close. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of applications on how this could be used, but those are like some of the main people that have stepped into this place, like stepped into Sensorium and became investors. And I'm sure if they became investors in this project, it's because they believe in Oculus and VR like as a whole. And they were willing to take a bet that they could use this technology with this company to be able to utilize its full capabilities. And the reality is that if Jay-Z and all these guys are getting behind it and they put out a project, think about who's going to be marketing it, right? Who's going to be the faces of it? I mean, Jay-Z's already expressed his interest by buying with two of his own companies. So if Jay-Z's there, think about how many people Jay-Z produces their music or does things with their music. Like, he's probably everywhere to some degree. He's like one of those guys at this point where it's like he's in the shadows of the music world pulling strings. If he's involved with it, I'm assuming that the people that are going to be marketing this project in the future are not going to be little people. And speaking of little people, or not little people rather, even David Guetta has joined the official $100 million backed VR platform, meaning that he plans to release, and it even says here he plans on releasing virtual reality concerts of basically like all VR, you know what I mean? So it's like a VR only live music app. Like, that's what they're trying to do. If they create a VR only live music app, think about how many musicians might actually do that. You know what I mean? Like, COVID shut everything down. They weren't able to play concerts, but if there's VR concerts, then it could be like another way of like going to see them without having to go all the way there to see them. So there is definitely a niche in that, and it's definitely something to take into consideration, considering that they want to make the music industry go virtual now. And the other thing too is this, right? So I mentioned David Guetta. He wants to do he joined the social VR platform, and he's basically like getting involved with it, right? Well, they also mentioned here in this article that he's going to be helping them launch an AI DJ, meaning it's going to be music created by an AI with the help of, actual DJs. And it's all done like through algorithmically driven AI. But they mentioned that, like David Guetta would be part of this whole thing. And it even says here, right? So the company backed by Tidal is set to launch with sets from major dance music performers already on the schedule, with David Guetta, Armin van Buuren, and Carl Cox, and more that have already signed to deliver exclusive VR performances. That's just a sign that like there's a lot of people that want to get into all this stuff. Like David Guetta's there, Jay-Z's there. You have quite a good start for marketing, and that's another reason why I wanted to mention this project. Is they're going to have a very strong marketing department, because they already have the celebrities and the musicians behind them. And not only do they have all the celebrities and the musicians behind them, they've been mentioned in reputable places. You could see that they're trying to basically build something here, right? And they even mention here, like the reason why the global VR world, or like the VR metaverse, isn't like popping off yet, is because there's not enough content for it. Yeah, okay, we have Oculus, we have all these things, but like, there's very limited things we could do. And like Sensorium is like, we're going to create content for the metaverse and the VR world. So if lack of content is a thing, and you have these people, Jay-Z, David Guetta, and all these different companies getting behind creating content specific to this world, then that's going to increase the content. And if there's an increase in content and there's going to be exclusivity to it, then assume that there's going to be people buying it more often, because they're going to want to be part of the exclusive club. And it says here, like global VR industry is set to expand 6x by 2025, right? Because VR hardware will become cheaper, the quality of the content will become better and more available, and it's expected to grow from look, you can see here in 2019 from 11.5 billion to 2020 at 15.8 billion, and they're expecting that by 2025 is going to be an $87.9 billion market. That's their estimate, roughly. And I don't personally think that's an overvaluation, simply because like you see the people that are getting behind it. You know what I mean? Like realistically, $87.9 billion isn't that big of a stretch, considering how small, like we don't know how big crypto is going to be at that point. You know what I mean? Like crypto could become much larger, and that might be a very small piece of the pie. So definitely something to keep in mind. Then you go here, right? And like you can see here, there's a oh yeah. So they have a beta over here, but you can't really join it. And I wanted to more or less show some of the Oculus systems that they have, but it looks like a standard Oculus system, and you'll see it more or less in the video, right? You see right here, this is another thing too, right? So no, that's weird. That's definitely weird. Taking dating into the metaverse, I'd like to see how that works. But I'm sure it'll happen. For me, as a caveman, living in the older era, dating online for me seemed, well, I mean, there's Tinder, but like there's not like this, you know what I mean? They want to make like metaverse dating too. And that's definitely a strange thought for me, I'll be honest, but I doubt that that's going to be something that doesn't become big. I have a belief that that'll become something. Like at the end of the day, imagine you could actually like see and talk a little bit with the person who you want to date on Tinder, for example, and having a VR option. I could see how that might actually be viable, thinking about that, right? You can see here too, like they have the web and mobile app and desktop app. Like they're clearly getting ready to do more. And I think more or less that's going to wrap up this video. There's probably going to be more to come with this project, and considering the list of partners and how small this token really is, I think that there's room for growth. And look at this. If you look at the actual coin market cap, it's only on 121 watch lists. So only 121 people are actually watching this coin. It's not often you see that. That's a very, very, very rare occurrence. Even on shit coins, people will be watching it. People are watching Doge. There's millions of people watching Doge. 121 people are watching this, which is backed by, Jay-Z and David Guetta at this point, as well as Epic Games. So I'm going to leave the video of that DJ who's using the setup in the description, so you can see like what kind of thing they're building, get a feel for it, and all the links and stuff will be in the description. So make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out our other videos and check out our Patreon as well. Take care.